Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Shoily Chakraborty and I'm working as a legal intern at LEXIS and Company. The topic for today's video is the infamous Nirbhaya rape case. Facts of the case. A 23-year-old woman, a paramedical student who had gone with her companion to watch a film at PVR Select City Walk Mall, Saket on a breaking cold night, got into the means of transport at Moreka transport stand to be dropped at a specific spot. One of the accused persuaded them to get on a vacant transport with color-tinted windows, where they were attacked by 6 guys, one of whom was a minor, aged 17. The companion, when he attempted to secure Nirbhaya, was pummeled and beaten by the culprits. Nirbhaya was explicitly damaged and sexually violated, her body was mutilated and the private parts were ruptured to give vent to their degenerate sexual appetite. Her intestine tracts were pulled out and private parts were ruined and mutilated, and she became a prey to the lust of gang of 6 and brutal assault. The companion of the young lady was able to survive regardless of being tossed outside the transport alongside the young lady, and the endeavor of the charged appellants to run over them got in vain, as Nirbhaya and her companion, by the slight movement, could escape from being quashed under the transport, and the appellants left them believing that they were not alive anymore. Lying exposed as the garments were expelled from their bodies, they yelled for help, and as favorable luck would have it, the late evening patrolling vehicle, a motorcycle, showed up, and the said man, Kumar, gave the shirt to her companion and reached the control room, from which a Bolero watch van came, and they brought a bedsheet and torn it in 2 sections, gave a piece to each, so that they could cover themselves and feel civil. The PCR van took the victims to Safdarjung Hospital, where the treatment initiated. Later, Nirbhaya died of various organ failures, internal bleeding and cardiac arrest on 29th of December at a hospital in Singapore, where she had been taken to with the expectation that her life could be saved. There was a great deal of social shock because of the gruesome occurrence. There was a great deal of candlelight march, solidarity movements and protests. The shock was not confined to India. The entire world had formed an opinion about India. Issues raised in the case. Whether rape, as defined under Section 375 of the Indian Penal Code, covers the offence entirely. Whether death penalty can be given to the convicts as punishment for such a heinous crime. Whether a juvenile committing the offence should get punishment equivalent to the adult. Whether public outrage can influence the judgment in a case. Whether the sexual offences against women in stride appositely in India. The judgment of the case. The court held that there should be consideration of both mitigation and aggravating factor, and there should be a balance between the two. In this case, there were mitigating factors like the dependent and ailing parents, the age of the convicts, the behavior in jail, no criminal antecedents, post-crime remorse, but the aggravating factors outweighed them. The court held that the conspiracy involving gang rape and murder inside the bus was brutal, barbaric, and diabolic, and the victim's companion was assaulted and brutally beaten and robbed. Moreover, they tried to run the bus over her after throwing them out of the bus naked on a wintry night. The evidence clearly displayed that the victim's internal organs were perforated and slayed open due to the repeated insertion of iron rods and hands, and caused grave injury to the victim, who later succumbed to her injuries. The convicts had also tried to destroy evidence by washing the bus and burning the clothes of the deceased after they had distributed the loot among themselves, which confirms the death sentence. A committee was formed, and Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013 was enacted to tackle sexual offences effectively. The court mentions that the mitigating circumstances were not enough to take the case out of the category of rarest of the rare case, and hence affirmed the death sentence. This case was landmark because of the various changes it brought about in the Indian Penal Code, and because of the gruesome nature of the case itself. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel.